Hello, listeners! Welcome back to Scrollies during Spooky Month. I am SqatCobblr, and I am joined by my co-host.
It's me, Rat Cyclone. I've upgraded. I was going to go with Hurricane, but that kind of seemed poorly timed with Ian and everything.
Yeah, wait until we're out of the season, and then, or maybe wait until Plague's Tale 3 comes out.
Ooh, that's when I become Rat Hurricane.
Yeah.
Good thinking, Sqat.
Every iteration of a Plague's Tale, you just upgrade slightly.
I did tell you that I was thinking about rebranding, but that's no longer happening. We're Team Ratnado, baby. There's too much good SEO out there for it.
We're locked in. Yeah, word of mouth is you can't get ahead of that. It's a little too out of the realm of control. So, despite the fact you are upgrading from a Ratnado, you will still be known as the simple tubular vortex of wind that is Ratnado.
Oh yeah.
But Plague's Tale 2 looks pretty interesting. I'm sure we can get into that. But before we do, listener, today we're going to be talking about a game. Yeah, just one for the most part. It's one that is spooky themed, kind of based on setting, but I guess we should say it's more centered around fear. What happens when fear overtakes a city, and the crime, the underbelly, uses that fear to try and grip the hope from the good citizens of Gotham. But, well, I'm getting ahead of myself. Before we talk about that, Ratnado.
That's even scarier than ghosts and goblins.
Yeah, that's real life. Before we talk about that, Ratnado, what you been playing?
Oh man, we're just gonna skip over that because y'all know I'm still there every day, 2 or 3 hours. It's getting out of control at this point. But besides that, Gravity Rush 2. SqatCobblr, have you ever played Gravity Rush 2?
Yes. Okay. So shout out aRkhamKnightFan. He was a big fan of Gravity Rush 1, I believe. It came out on the Vita, right?
It may have. I'll be honest, I just saw them on sale, Gravity Rush 1 and 2 on the PlayStation Store. So, said, hey, I'm going to pick them up.
Okay, yes. So I've seen this game. I've not played it. Just watching it without having the controller in my hand made me feel sick. I had to look away because everything's just shifting around constantly. Because I guess you don't move in the traditional sense. You just shift the direction gravity takes you. Right?
Yeah, exactly. It's a little bit crazy. It is a little disorienting, but it's different and it's new, and it marks a very important thing in my life. I don't know how many people do this, but I know some people are like, if I watch a show, if I watch a movie, I have to start from the beginning. I have to watch it all. I have to catch up. And I just realized life's a little too short to always do that. So I was like, you know what? Gravity Rush 1, probably pretty decent. Gravity Rush 2, I'm just going to jump into it because maybe it's better.
You know, rarely is it a good idea to go back in a game series, to start with the sequel and then to return to an earlier iteration. As I myself can attest to, having played Arkham games in a unorthodox order, but we'll get into that in a moment.
Whoa!
Yeah, we'll get into that.
Arkham.
We'll get into that in a little bit.
Yeah, Sqat. I think you need to let that crawl around in the dark a little bit more and jump out and sneak attack you.
But are there any gargoyles for me to perch on before I swoop down and grab an unsuspecting opinion?
I'll save that. What about you, Sqat? What you been up to? What you playing?
What have I been playing? Well, not very spooky themed. Not even really very SqatCobblr. Yeah, that's totally up his alley. But I'm venturing out into unknown waters a little bit. Playing Far Cry 3.
What?
Yeah, Rat just gave a face. He's like, what? That doesn't sound like a SqatCobblr game at all. What in the world? So here's the thing. There's this little show called Better Call Saul that has nothing to do with video games. We're not going to talk about it. But there's an actor in that, Michael Mando. He plays the character Nacho. And his most famous role before that was Voss, the villain of Far Cry 3. And I think kind of the big, notable villain from that entire series. Everyone says 3 is the best one, apparently.
Yeah.
Because of that, because of the villain. and because of the I guess setting and story and all that. But yeah, I've had it for a while. It's just been sitting like in my backlog, so it's like, well, might as well give it a shot, and it's pretty fun. The first person perspective isn't really my forte. I'm not a shooter guy at all either, so that's kind of not exactly up my alley. But I like exploring the island. I like kind of the stealthy aspect of it. Not very far into it. I'm maybe like a couple hours, but yeah, it's good. I'm liking the characters so far.
You know what everybody says?
Did I ever tell you what the definition of insanity is?
Everyone knows the quote. I didn't know it came from this game until yeah.
Well, I don't know if it's from the game. I think it was like it is a quote, but that was like everyone knows it from there.
Yeah, the game made it famous or something.
Well, and that's funny too because I feel like every single Far Cry is kind of the same thing a little bit.
I think shout out Professor Donker didn't experience that firsthand.
Yo, Donker! Yeah. Oh my gosh, what a trooper! Watching him play that. I want to say though too that I played Blood Dragon front to back. Holy sheesh, what a great homage to the 80s, and also just like a pretty fun game. I really liked that. So, and I believe that was like the DLC or the mod or whatever it was of Far Cry 3.
Yeah, it's like a standalone expansion type deal. I had that before I had the base games, which is kind of funny. I've played a little bit of Blood Dragon, not nearly to the extent of having beaten it, or even I've probably played more Far Cry 3 now than I have of Blood Dragon. But maybe I'll do them side by side once I finish this. So
Blood Dragon, pretty great game and not that long. I think it was maybe like 10 or 15 hours.
Oh yeah, just a little DLC short story type deal. So yeah, not exactly sure if I would buy any of the new Far Cries. I guess it remains to be seen how I feel about this one at the end. But hey, Voss is one scary dude. So good job, Michael Mando.
Hey, and they also, guess you know who they got for, was it Far Cry 6? Your
boy. Yes, my boy, Giancarlo Esposito. Yes.
That was very good pronunciation as well, Sqat. Good job. I just want to point that out.
I tried my best. I knew I would get blasted if I messed it up, so thank you. We're gonna cut this part out, right? Where we talk, or where we had the 3 takes where I said it all wrong. We're not gonna leave any of those in, and we're not gonna leave me saying this in, right?
Yeah, right. Of course. Anyways, okay, yeah, I don't know. Sqat. So that's pretty awesome, and I didn't know you were an FPS guy almost ever. I mean, I'm not really anymore. I used to be in my youth. As I've stated before on this stream, I once got a 20 kill run in Modern Warfare 2 on PS3, and I said, "That's it. I'm done.
You've peaked.
No more.
There's no topping this."
and I'm out. I'm going out on top.
Makes sense. I think
if you have Sqat's copy of DK64 and you're gonna smash it, either he has to play a shooty or a numbers game, and it's gonna get smashed. Who knows?
I'd say I haven't ever drive now. No big deal. No, not that. Please, anything but that. Okay, I'll endure it. I'll endure it for the sake of the DK Revolution. Anyway, yeah. So that's what we've been playing, everyone. Something a little different, I guess, for each of us. But let us know your thoughts on the Far Cry and Gravity Rush series. Anyway, time to move on to a series that I think I'm super well versed in. I think you likewise have played a good deal of this. Maybe not this entry in particular, but these games. Batman Arkham. It's a little Halloween-y, especially this one we're talking about. It's got those gothic settings, the old architecture of Gotham City. It's got Scarecrow in a number of the games. He's a pretty scary guy. A lot of the villains are just monsters, for lack of a better word. Like, oh yeah, Killer Croc. He's totally a guy with a skin condition, guys. There's nothing monstrous about this man who eats people and lives in the sewers.
Yeah. And then also just the Penguin, who's just kind of a short guy, and looks kind of like a penguin, and he's a criminal. So it really runs the gamut, SqatCobblr.
The rogues gallery of Batman are full of wacky and varied characters, if there ever was one. But Yeah, we're talking Arkham Knight, the final game in the Arkham series tonight. Yes, it's a game that I was very, very hyped for. Probably one of, we'll say, my top 5 most hyped games of all time, leading up to it.
Yeah.
I was very big into the series before that. However, I hadn't played all of them, as I guess we'll touch on briefly. I played Arkham Asylum last, and hey, I think Arkham Asylum just really went in an awesome new direction for superhero games. Really just took on the atmosphere and the whole setting of Batman's world. However, playing it last after the at the time AAA current release game was probably not the best idea. It was lacking quite a few features that the sequels brought about, but still a good game. Arkham City is my favorite. I think that just really was firing on all cylinders. Just took everything that was great about the first game, dialed it all up to 11, and just perfected the combat, the movement, the traversal, the gadgetry, all that stuff. Arkham Origins, people kind of forget about and don't like to talk about because it wasn't made by Rocksteady, but I think it's also good.
Hey, whoa, hold on. It's not Christmas yet. Okay,
yeah,
we can't talk about Arkham Origins until Christmas.
Sorry. I'll put that on the back burner for now.
Specifically, why we're talking about Arkham Knights, right, SqatCobblr?
Yes. So each of these games in the Arkham series takes place on one night, because just too easy to ask Batman to deal with this over a weekend. I guess he's got to take care of an entire city's worth of crime in one night, a particular hard night at that.
Because you have a lot of then questions coming in about, hey, why isn't everybody helping here? Where's Nightwing? What's going on? There should be more people around to help. That's why everything has to be concluded very quickly.
Hey, the Bat phone doesn't have them on speed dial, I guess. Something like that. I guess we'll see what happens when daytime comes about in Gotham Knights, maybe? Releasing soon?
Ooh.
Supposedly that's going to have daytime sequences of multiple days spanning cases. But
Don't know why.
back in the day, Arkham series, one night, one and done. This last game, Arkham Knight, taking place on Halloween.
Yeah.
So that's real spooky, if you ask me. Scarecrow's the main villain, supposedly.
Well, yeah.
He's the main villain. He's not the titular villain or the one that. Yeah. We'll get into it. I guess spoilers going forward for Arkham Knight. So if you haven't played it, or if you have any interest in playing the Arkham series and seeing the culmination of it for yourself, maybe check back in later.
Yeah, maybe. But I'm going to also say that it's been 10 years, and if you didn't get into that boat, the bottom of it, and find out all that stuff about Scarecrow and Arkham City, it's on you, bud. Okay? Come on. I don't care if Arkham City or Arkham Knight is your comfort game. It's time. No one's talking about this. It's time. Someone's getting... Okay. All right. I'm sorry, Eggy.
Eggy's here.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Eggy, you love licensed games, right?
I have to explain myself to you.
Yeah, Eggy's all about the licensed Batman material.
Lego Batman is more my jam.
We're not talking about that this week, though.
I don't see why you're not talking about it.
Come on, Eggy. Come on. Just...
No, Sqat. You come on.
We can just talk about, general Batman if it...
I said Lego Batman.
Yep.
All right.
That's it, Rat. Not one more word. I'm leaving.
You can't just walk...
If you want to talk about Lego Batman, maybe I don't want to be here this week.
Yep.
That's
come
it.
back. Hey.
I'm walking out of here.
He just left.
Yeah, looks like he's out of this one. Okay, bye, Eggy. See you next week.
See you later, man. Whatever.
All right. Well, hey, 10 years, spoilies, all that good stuff. Yeah. Jason Todd? Really? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, Gotham City, I think is the big name here. In all the other games, you were in little segments of a region of Gotham, whether it be Arkham Island in Arkham Asylum, in the old Gotham in Arkham City, which was walled off, so you couldn't really go, into the rest of Gotham. You got a little more of that Arkham Origins, but there was like a snowstorm or something. I don't really know why you couldn't explore more of the city there, but that's how that was. Yeah, they were like, oh, you can explore all of Gotham City in Arkham Knight. And hey, it's a lot. It's like 3 or 4 islands. They each got their own distinct built architecture. Different crimes take place on the different islands. There are drones and snipers and all kinds of stuff to keep you from going to them too early. So that's fun. I think the map's a little too big for my taste.
Really?
Yeah, I think I shout out Cheeseboy21. Me and him used to get into it back in the day because I think that Arkham City. Here's the thing. It feels a lot bigger than it is because it's horseshoe shaped. So even though it's small, because you can explore the same region in Arkham Origins. In Arkham Origins, they have Old Gotham there, but the walls aren't up, so you can just go right across it, and you're like, wow, this is like nothing at all. But they were really smart with how they designed the map in Arkham City, because they have like a wall in the middle of it, so you have to go around it, and it feels like it's just a huge city, because I mean, this is 2011. This wasn't, too long after. Actually, it might have come out a little before Skyrim, this game.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm going to fact check that.
You're talking about Arkham City, right?
Arkham City. I'm going to fact check that because otherwise Cat's going to scratch.
I'm going to say it's October 2011. Or September 2011. September 28th, 2011.
October 18th, 2011.
No! Oh, I was going to say October.
He was close. Hey, that just makes it even more of a Halloween game, I guess, or something.
Yeah.
So that is several weeks before Skyrim. So yeah, the open world genre, I think, really was exploding around that time, becoming a big thing. So yeah, they had restraint, and yet they designed the world well. So that's why I think Arkham City has the perfect map size for the time. If it came out now, I'd say it's too small. But
SqatCobblr needs a game to be at least 300 hours to occupy his time.
Yeah, or even forever. That's why we're looking forward to Gotham Knights, right? Because it's an MMO grindy fest.
Is it grindy fest? Is it going to be?
Well, we'll find out, I guess. I'm hearing tell of such things, and the Batman brand may be enough to bring me on board, but we'll see.
Dibs on Nightwing.
And Nightwing, of course. Hey, Nightwing's playable in Arkham Knight.
Yeah, that's true.
Kind of, sort of, in the middle of fight sequences. The map's big, and I don't think anyone's complaining about that. It's cool. It's cool seeing all of Gotham, and I think there's a lot to do. There's a lot of crimes to solve in Arkham Knight. You get to meet some terrifying villains like Man-Bat, Ratnado. How far into the game did you play? Or did you encounter Man-Bat at all?
I don't remember. I don't think so. I mean, here's the thing about a lot of DC stuff is I used to really like comics. I used to read them a lot, and so I don't. All these, I might know something that I like. Oh, I learned about that from the Arkham universe. The Rocksteady universe. And so I don't think I got that far. Again, dude, it's been 8 years. I don't have a lot of memories. And then I remember I watched I've watched a bunch of videos on the ending. So
that's fair. Well, Man-Bat, he's not like a bizarro Batman. He's actually like a mutated bat creature man.
He's an actual
Yeah. He looks like a bat. He doesn't look like a guy in a costume. So he's they're flying around in Arkham Knight, but when you first enter, I guess, his part of the city, you're just doing your thing. You're pretty standard traversal. You're gliding, you're grappling, you're trying to zoom across buildings. You do it one time, and then next thing you know, you're zooming up to a building, and suddenly just Man-Bat comes over the ledge of the roof and just screams at you. It's horrifying,
as he's wont to do,
as he tends to do. And that's pretty scary, man. But that's cool. I think. Let's see what else was there. I mean, we can talk about the main villains, but I'm trying to get all the side characters out of the way yet. Firefly comes back from Origins. That's fine. I think there's some serial killer, Professor Pig. I think that's his name. I think. And I remember those cases were really cool because you have to use different tissue scanners in order to from forensics, and that seems more detective-y Batman than I think you get in those games.
I think, I mean, from everything I can remember too, and I mean, kind of just the whole series in general, like what you're saying, it really does it does such a good job of encapsulating, like you're saying, like this gothic kind of horror kind of feel. And I mean, even in that too, I think that, and sorry to kind of going back to Asylum, I think it just has like such a like kind of rusted over, brutal feeling. And I think Arkham Knight kind of tries to go a little bit more slick and modern, especially if you like look at the design of Arkham Knight, the Arkham Knight. And man, I don't know. I feel like that was like such a good like template, or what a lot of people built off of, because you had people then. I mean,
no, I completely agree. We talked with Glasses Guy a couple weeks ago about, and I said that atmosphere can make or break a game for me in a lot of cases, and the Arkham series is definitely one of those where just absolutely from start to finish, you just feel like you're in Batman's world, that he's been in this world for years now, that he has experienced, that he has history with everyone he encounters. Villains, or even just the random street thugs, will just be talking about, oh, Batman broke my arm like 3 months ago, and that was in the hospital recovering. I just got out. Just stuff like that makes it feel like you're not just stepping into like Batman's shoes, like for just the first time. It's like, oh, Batman's been doing this for a while. Like this is just like routine to him. This is just another night. But everyone's like, oh, where's Batman? And they're looking around for him. They're talking. They're shooting at shadows. It really makes you feel like Batman.
that's what I was gonna say. I hate to dust that one off, but it really does.
Was trying to say it without saying it, but I fell into the IGN trappings nonetheless.
We can dance around it all day, but it really does.
Yes.
And I think as far as just like giving like, again, like just like the brutal nature of it, I think is super amazing. And like, I don't know, even the designs of everything feels to me a lot just like almost classic Batman in a lot of ways, or like in a realistic kind of way. I know that's kind of silly to say about it, but like all the designs, the world, it is almost like kind of what I imagine when I'm reading a comic that is specifically centered within Gotham, say from, I don't know, not New 52 or anything like that, Rebirth, nothing like that. All that stuff's kind of a little, doesn't quite feel the same. But, like, for example, I mean, I'm sure people kind of made this comparison a lot because we're not a movie podcast, but if you watch The Batman, it kind of also does a similar, just a really good job of doing this oppressive feeling of, like, darkness and dinginess, and everything's dark and broken and old. And I love that about the whole series.
Yeah, it's like why would even anyone want to live in Gotham? This place sucks.
Yeah. Yep, exactly.
Yeah, and what's Batman even like trying to do is it just seems like a lost cause at this point. Yeah. No, I think that it really does feel like its own thing. It doesn't feel like it's trying to harken to any specific iteration of Batman, but more it's taking on the best aspects of multiple iterations, whether it be the animated series, whether it be the Nolan films, even the Snyderverse. I think borrowed some of the Arkham aesthetics back, especially in its fight scenes, but. And of course, the comics. The comics is where a lot of the source material comes from. At this point, Batman is as much a movie character as a comic character at this point. But we can't forget that those storylines originated there. And yeah, I think that's both to Arkham Knight's benefit and detriment when they just end up retreading some certain storylines that and try and paint it as something new, a la the Arkham Knight's true identity, Jason Todd, the second Robin.
I was going to say, I knew, and I knew, and it was the most annoying thing because they were like, no, it's not.
It's a brand new character. We embedded him for this game. He's never been in any other Batman media before. He's originating here, much like Harley Quinn originated in the animated series. Like, yeah, okay, sure.
They J.J. Abrams'd me.
Oh.
They said, no, you lied to me. No, but I will say this, though. At FanX the other week, I saw two of them. And I caught one actually on stream. You can go and find that. We talked to one of them. A Nightwing and an Arkham Knight. I didn't really talk to Arkham Knight because it was Nightwing, so anyway. But I mean, that speaks to the lasting power of it and how actually people really did take that on, which is, I guess, surprising. I don't know. How did that take you, finding out that it was Jason Todd?
I was like, okay, fine. For me, it was more like a marketing issue. Okay, you're gonna do all this talk, and I think we've seen a lot of that over the years. People getting really disappointed by certain marketing and refusal to acknowledge certain fan theories, even though they end up being completely right. about plot lines and characters. But for me, it was more like, okay, this might have been a little more impactful if you actually teased the fact that Jason Todd existed in earlier games, or even like at the beginning of this game. Instead, you go through most of the game where it's like, oh, it's a big mystery who the Arkham Knight is. He knows Batman super well. But for me, I was like, I obviously I knew the Jason Todd storyline, like what happened with him, but they hadn't introduced him in the Arkham games before, so I'm like, okay, I guess he just doesn't exist. There's only Tim Drake and Dick Grayson, so I'm like, okay, so obviously this is going to be a Robin. It could be Tim Drake because there seems to become some kind of tension there, and you don't really ever see him at the same time that you see the Arkham Knight because he's always back at the Batcave, supposedly like working with the Joker patients.
Yeah.
Nightwing, you do see quite often out and about in the city, so you're like, it could be him, but also he's like helping you with the Penguin. But I guess that's not really related. But at the same time, like, why would he be helping you if he's the Arkham Knight? So I was like, I don't really know what to. Oh wait, we're having a flashback scene. Jason Todd's getting dragged away by the Joker.
Yeah,
we're about to fight the Arkham Knight after this. I wonder what's gonna happen. This is just a not necessarily involving the storyline, but I played it on PS4, and PS4 does this thing where if you get to like a spoilery scene, it'll have this little thing come up in the corner saying this scene has been blocked for gameplay recording because of like plotline stuff. I'm like, okay, I wasn't recording it, but I guess now I know that the reveal's going to have to happen.
Yep, exactly.
So, yeah, not well handled, but also not the worst thing ever. It's just, maybe someone coming into it totally blind, without any of the marketing hype around it would be a little more into it.
But even then though, like it's still not presented well, because I mean, if you go to a non-comics fan, which I mean, I think most people who play these games have at least a general understanding of things. But anyone that you're going to get with that kind of a reveal is going to be like, what's Jason Todd? What? Didn't we see Robin? And you're like, yeah, but
those were other Robins.
Like, yeah, and it's kind of like that reveal doesn't mean anything if your person doesn't already know.
Right.
And for people who do know, it's kind of just like, ugh, yeah, I know what you're doing, but let's skip over this. Just give me Red Hood. That's fine.
Yeah,
your newbie isn't going to know that anyways.
Yeah. And your big villain that you were teasing up for games before this was Scarecrow, who kind of gets sidelined in this, even though I think kind of an underrated Batman villain. A lot of people really like Scarecrow, really like the psychological aspect of his character and his abilities, his gas. It really allows
and
for some
so
cool
good
sequences.
for a video game.
Yeah, like that moment in Arkham Asylum when you're walking down the hallway and your game starts glitching out, that plays on your actual fears as a player, like, oh no, my game's crashing. And then it starts back at the beginning cutscene, you're like, oh no, my data got erased, and then things are different. You're like, oh, okay, this was supposed to happen. But like, that's great. That's like one of the all-time like great fakeouts, and it involves Scarecrow. And like, there wasn't really any moment in this game, aside from one, but it was kind of like taken away from Scarecrow because it was, well, we'll talk about Joker in a second, but yeah, there were moments in this game that could have been like that, but since Scarecrow was just kind of like, he showed up and did like a thing and then he just like ran away. It's like, well, all right, I guess, okay. Bye, Scarecrow.
That's how he scared you, by he was building up the fear that he might come back.
Like, I haven't played it in a while, so I might be wrong about this, but I don't even think you fight Scarecrow. I think you only ever like confront him in cutscenes. Like, he's one of those kind of villains where it's like he's a cutscene villain. And I mean, at the end of the game, like, we'll talk about that in a moment. But okay. So the thing with the Joker, the big bad of the entire Arkham series is the Joker, and how much the Joker means to Batman, and Batman means to Joker, and everything is about the Joker. That's kind of the joke, right? Because every game has the Joker as the big bad. Even Arkham Knight, since he's dead. Spoiler alert.
Oh no!
Yeah. They did that kind of twist in Arkham Origins. It wasn't Black Hood, it was Joker. And then in Arkham Knight, the Joker was in Batman's head because he had the Joker blood, and the Joker blood made him into Joker. It's dumb, but it's
fine.
Wacky comic book logic.
We all love Mark Hamill enough.
Yeah. It was cool to see him come back. He factored heavily into the game, and that moment with Scarecrow, where he's releasing the gas at Ace Chemicals, which is probably the best like level of the game.
Yeah.
You have Batman basically saying, "Okay, there's no time to escape," but I have to diminish this gas cloud because otherwise it's gonna cover Gotham. And Alfred's like pleading with him on his comms, like, don't do this. Think of yourself. Think of your legacy, your family's legacy. And he's like, this is my family's legacy. And he's like, pulling these like chemical tubes out of this thing that releases gas. I don't know what it's called. And it's all emotional. The music starts getting quiet. And I think even like the music like dwindles down to like its most minimalistic form. It's just like piano keys, like. It's so sad, and like I was starting to tear up when I was playing. I'm like, oh, Batman, he's doing this for the city. He's gonna sacrifice himself, and then he turns around and Joker's there. It's like, this could have been a cool Scarecrow moment, but you took away and made it about Joker. All right, and then Batman is able to escape anyway, even though apparently there wasn't enough time to escape, but there was. So
there really was. And it was really Joker messing with him.
Yeah. You never really trust what that fear gas is making you tell yourself. Yeah,
it's rough. No, that I really like. I mean, I need to go and finish Arkham Knight. I don't know if I don't think I stated that earlier. I haven't finished it. I think I just got busy with a lot of other stuff, real life, and then I was like, well, I just want to know the ending. I assume that it's going to be Jason Todd as the Arkham Knight, and figuring out all the Joker stuff, and it was really good. I don't know, it's great. I think the whole series is it's Halloween. It feels like Halloween. It looks like Halloween. And I don't know, who knows? Maybe I'll boot that up.
Yeah, it may sound like we're being negative. We have some gripes with the game, but I think overall it's very well done. It does some really cool things with the camera, like using the camera to reveal more of your surroundings, changing on the fly without even like loading. You'll be like looking at a wall, and then you like turn around. There's like a hallway where there wasn't before, and you look back where the wall was, and there's like an entire different like scenery. All that stuff's really cool. The combat and the movement is really refined. I think they really emphasize that. The Batmobile is a bit of a hot button issue with the game, but I think for what it is, it's utilized heavily throughout the game. So if you're into it, that's really cool. It uses the Batmobile in a lot of ways you wouldn't even think of Batman using it. So that's neat. And I think if anything, there just needed to be some changes in emphasis. On certain plot elements and on certain gameplay aspects, and the game would have just been chef's kiss. But for what it is, it's good. It's good. It's not the best of the series. I don't think it's really... Okay, I'm sure it's someone's favorite. It's not my favorite. It's not my least favorite. I do like booting it up every now and then, just flying around and fighting thugs, because, again, it feels really good. And I'm a sucker for skins. There's tons of skins in that game, and a ton of bonus content. There's, like, racetracks and... a bunch of DLC missions where you get to play as other characters like Nightwing and Harley Quinn and Robin, and there's even a Batgirl DLC, which is really cool. So, yeah, it's good. It's good. The Arkham series is fantastic. I love it. I'm sure we'll be talking about it more, maybe another entry down the road. But, yeah, I definitely would say, check it out. Check it out if you're into some spooky Halloween vibes in your game, in the quite literal sense, because it takes place on Halloween. There's tons of decorations around. It's raining, and it just it feels very like a fall time game. So yeah, I was gonna say kind of the similar things. It's something I always wanted to finish, and I think I got into a lot of stuff and it kind of fell under the pile, but it was really good. I like the series overall. That game was great. One thing I've watched is the DLC, which is Batgirl and Robin, right? And it looks really good. I mean, I think I kind of know what's happening with it, so I'm not gonna be. I don't think I'm gonna be too surprised. I already know, but it looks good. And the one thing I will say about all the Arkham games is that they're for as good as the combat system is, and is like, I don't know, it's like they nailed it. They do a good job of like changing things around a little bit, just enough so that every character really kind of does make you feel like that person. Nightwing plays different, Batgirl plays different, and it's really satisfying. Really, it feels solid, I guess is the only word I can think of to describe it. It has weight behind it. I'll also say it's probably one of the best looking games even to this day. They really it's a PlayStation, Xbox one generation game, but I mean the art design it looks so sleek. It still looks fantastic to this day. It's really, really gorgeous. Yeah,
Arkham Knight's almost 10 years old. It's like what, 8 years old now?
Yeah, just
2014.
It came out. Yeah, it came out hang on, no, I want to say
It was pretty early after PS4 came out.
I want to say
So
it came out in 2015, late in 2015, because I played it my first semester of college.
Yeah, still 7 years.
Yep,
it's crazy. So
yeah. Anyway, that's all we got to say about that for now. If you guys have any favorite Halloween time games, let us know, and maybe we'll talk about some of those down the road. But I hope you're all enjoying your spooky month. If you're getting your pumpkins, your jack-o'-lanterns ready, make sure to carve in Batman's face so he can watch over your front lawn.
There you go, and do a costume. Legitimately, I remember this is a memory I have from college. Some kid came to because at my college a lot of people dressed up, and this one dude had like an actually sick Robin, like based on the Arkham universe. That was his costume, and it was so cool. I remember just being like, "Yo, that's dope, man!" So
that's awesome.
Yeah. Be at your Batman costume, get your Harley Quinns, your Jokers. I don't know. I feel like Harley Quinn is more of a millennial thing, and now that's kind of old. But hey, we had a good decade, Harley Quinns.
Yeah. Thanks for listening, everyone. We will catch you in the next one. See ya.
Bye.
Yeah. Step ladders, man. They make great chairs.
We need a Scrolly's prayer or something to just say before we start.
Oh, great ape, bless this recording. May it be bountiful banana.
So it's been said, so let it be.
All together now.
Okay.